Give me that. Oh, you gotta give me some. Give me that. 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 Give me that.
Today there are on general sale hundreds, perhaps thousands of books, the sale of which would have been unthinkable a few short years ago, in a country which enhanced the reputations of some of its finest writers by banning them. Attitudes to the new trend vary. These books, depending on how you view them, may be innocent, factual, broad-minded, permissive, pornographic, or downright dirty. It can be said that these books have always been sought, and one way or another were made available. All that has changed is that we parade our permissiveness much more. Some would hold that permissiveness has merely ceased to be a class privilege. So what does it matter? And to some, it still does.
Now, when I was a child, we were brought up to believe that modesty was a virtue, purity was essential, impurity was a sin. I never hear the word sin mentioned nowadays in connection with sex. It's freedom, anything goes, doing your thing.
Oh, that's right, I'm sad and blue, 'cause I can do the boogaloo. When I'm lost, can't do a thing, that's why I sing. Give me that thing.
I have a little boy of 10. Sometime I'm going to have to tell him about the facts of life and that kind of thing. I want him to find them out from me. I don't want to find them out from one of these smutty magazines. Equally, I think that magazines which glorify violence and glorify the Vietnamese War in some cases are wrong and could have a very bad effect upon children. We talk a lot about vandalism today, drug addiction, this sort of thing. It seems to me to bring our children up on a diet of horror and violence and sadism is comparable to bringing them up on drugs.
Of course, literature alone cannot be singled out. There are now more channels of communication pouring their influence over you than ever before. Television, radio, theatre, cinema, magazines and newspapers. And as some see it, in television there's a commie behind every camera. In the cinema, nudity is now normal, and foreign teenage magazines blithely advise our children to go on the pill, each drawing us away from our traditional values. A constant bombardment of the senses telling us what to think, how to live.
Kremlin trained to spy for Russia. This man is Sasha Demidov, and tomorrow in the News of the World he talks about Russia's spy school, the nerve gas pistols, karate, sex and blackmail.
Nearly all those who react to what they regard as pornography agree that adults should be free to read what they like. In Denmark, every legal sanction against pornography was lifted about 2 years ago. The effects were described by one source as downright socially redeeming. Demand for pornography immediately declined, indicating that it is scarcity that gives it its value. So far as protesters are concerned, the limit is reached when it gets to children, and particularly when it's designed for young people. And erotica and perversion now even reach into children's comics. Under British law, you can be prosecuted for selling these comics. Here, there's no such law. Dr. David Thornley, the Labour Dáil deputy, is trying to put a stop to them.
Well, it's quite widely on sale in the centre of Dublin in quite a number of shops, one in particular. Magazines of this kind here, some of them devoted to sex, equally some devoted to horror and violence, the most unpleasant kind, cannibalism, headhunting, this sort of thing. And obviously magazines, by their price and by the general low quality of their publication, which are designed for children's consumption. I want to make very clear to you that I am only concerned with the effect these things which are designed specifically for children may have. I'm not looking for any tightening up of the censorship regulations as far as adult literature is concerned.
Despite his campaign, Dr. Thornley hasn't got very far. These comics are still on sale in Dublin. We found them in Amiens Street and here in the city centre, where the proprietor, when challenged, said he would continue to sell them because he wasn't breaking the law. Sex, sadism and even suburban cannibalism are on sale here.